It's now my pleasure at last to introduce Sonya as our guest speaker. Business Networking International, BNI, is a global network. I found this on the web. 270,000 business owners in 72 countries. And Sonya, here with us today, is Managing Director at BNI South Australia. Is that right? Oh, good. She loves helping people either get started in business or take their business from struggling to success. Her goal is to motivate, inspire, and impact others. She's passionate about business, about making sure people are working in the right position. So we are thrilled to have Sonya speak to us today. She mentioned earlier she spent a couple of months preparing this morning, so it's going to be good, I know. And we're looking forward to hearing some of her wisdom and experience. So let's give her a warm round of applause, shall we?
Yeah, so as JJ mentioned, Daniel asked me quite a few times to come and present today, and I kept pushing back going, don't really have a story to tell. I'm not sure why I needed to do this. So I have spent quite a few months talking to people like Marissa and a few other people about what I could share today with you. So this is me. These are the places you can find me. I've got a personal website. I have a Living for God website, and you can find me at BNI. So for me to make sense today, what I have decided to share with you is my story around what has led me to my position now today and what I'm doing in that position. So it's quite a story, so hopefully you will get something out of it. So as I said, this is me, and JJ mentioned that my passion is to help people. My goal is to motivate, inspire, and impact others. I also see the positive in everyone and believe that everyone deserves a chance. So this is the Bible verses that I try and hold myself accountable to. So Matthew 22:37-40. Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and the great commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all of the law and the prophets." So that is what I try and live my life like. But you need to understand my why and what has led me to my current day. So I'm going to share with you how God has shown his presence to me time and time again throughout my life. And it starts with this lady here. She was my auntie, and I grew up watching her tend to the poor, pray over people, spread the word of God, and just generally be the most amazing person that you could ever meet. So she had a big influence, and I wanted to grow up to be like her. So my first story is how in 2006 God saved my son. My son was 10 years old, and he was diagnosed with a brain tumour. So we were in hospital for 2 days. They did huge amounts of tests on him. He was getting worse and worse. You could see his head swelling, and they did a scan on him in the end and found that there was a tumour in the middle of his brain. Now, this was like on a Saturday night, 10 o'clock at night, and we're all sitting around waiting for an ambulance. We were in Central Victoria, an ambulance to come up from Melbourne because we couldn't fly him to Melbourne because of the pressure in his brain. My auntie, who was in that previous photo, was driving to pick her daughter up from work, and there was the normal way she went was not near the hospital, but something had happened, and the road that she normally went down was blocked, and so it led her past the hospital. And as she was driving past the hospital, she received a message from God that she had to come in and pray over Riley. So it's 10 o'clock at night, the hospital's 10:30 or whatever at night, the hospital's locked up. And so she's pulled up to the front and she's gone, how am I going to get into this hospital? So she's got out and she's walked up to the doors, and as she's walked up to the doors, a nurse was coming out of the doors, and the doors opened so she could go in. So then she's walking down the hallway, not knowing where we were, and she's like, okay, God, where do I find them? And it happened that my sister was going down to a vending machine to get a drink. Mm-hmm. So she found her and she brought her to us. So my auntie walked into the room, and she said, I've been sent from God by God to pray over Riley. So we all gathered around and we prayed over Riley, and after quite a while she's turned around and she's like, he'll be fine. God has removed the angel of death and he now has the angel of life. So we went to Melbourne. This was him the day of his operation. It was a non-operable, but they had to operate to relieve the pressure on his brain. So they did that and did some more scans, and we were told that he wasn't going to survive. He was, the chemotherapy that they had to use on him was adult version, which would kill him. And if it didn't kill him, the brain tumour would. But we had faith because we knew that he was saved by God. So these are just pictures of him during his journey. That's the day after his operation. That's a scar he's really proud of, and all he wants to do is become bald so he can show off the scar. I think he's probably the only man that actually wants that to happen. But so this was him going through his journey, and this is him now with his wife and his child. So we are very grateful to have him. But it doesn't stop there. In 2009, I was struggling with my daughter, going through lots of stuff, and then spent lots of time in prayer. And God has stepped into her life and saved her. And then in 2015, my son went through a psychotic episode, and I spent 8 weeks begging every authority I could find for help with him. Could not get any help, so I spent a whole night of not sleeping and just begging God to step in. Which he did, and by the next night he was in hospital and we had finally had help for him. So God has touched all my children's lives. I often ask God why I had to go through that, but it is what it is. My next story is me. So I went to Cairns on a holiday in September 2006, and it's a place that I really connect with. I really love Cairns. It's an amazing place and it feels like home to me. I went up there for a holiday, connected with some people in BNI because I was in BNI in Central Victoria, and got invited to move up there to help work on their regional team. I have no idea why I was invited, had no idea why they chose me, but I seem to have faith in God and where he sends me. So I packed my car up and drove to Cairns by myself to work up there, and life was pretty cool. It was really, my career was going amazing. I was doing great things in Cairns, but behind the scenes, what was your name? Matthew. What Matthew was saying before, behind the scenes, my personal life was crumbling apart. My mother was on a mission to destroy me and get me back to Central Victoria, so she was doing all types of horrible things. And my sister and her family stopped talking to me. My daughter stopped talking to me. And everything was falling apart in my life. One day I was in this very room in front of these very people, and I was the president, so I was taking the BNI meeting on the day and just doing my own thing. Nobody in that room knew what was going on for me behind the scenes. They all see me as this person who was succeeding in BNI. And after the meeting, one of the members came up to me and he said, Sonya, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Jehovah's Witness. And I was like, well, no, I don't know that. And he was like, I was sitting in this meeting watching you today, and I got a really clear message that I had to tell you that you have to throw all your burden on Jehovah, and that he will sustain you, and never will he allow the righteous one to fall. And I was like, wow. Okay, so that set off some conversations with him, and which led me down the path of connecting with a pastor who was in the Pentecostal church up in Cairns, but also a BNI member, and led me down to actually laying all my burdens and asking God for help with everything that I was going through with my family. So he placed lots of people from lots of different religions in front of me. So there was Les, who was the Jehovah, Jason, who was my Pentecostal pastor. Naomi, her father was a minister for the Anglican Church, so I spent a lot of time with her. and then Christine was a Jehovah, and then I've got Janie and Debbie who were Pentecostal. So all these people came into my life. I'd never met them, but they were just placed in front of me to help me through my journey in Cairns. Then I got the opportunity to come to Adelaide. Once again, I had no idea where that opportunity came from, like why it happened, why it was given to me. So in January 2021, I left Cairns behind, which I thought I was going to be in Cairns for a while, but apparently not. So made my journey down to Adelaide. Now, originally, I was going to go Cairns, Townsville, Brisbane, through New South Wales into Adelaide. That was the journey I was taking. So day one, I set off down to Cairns. And New South Wales announced that because of COVID, New South Wales was cut off. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going that way. So I'll go to Brisbane and then I'll find my way and avoid New South Wales and, do that type of stuff. But then there was flooding below Townsville. So I couldn't go that way. So then I had to go inland. Then there was a cyclone that was hitting the Gulf. So I had to make quick time across to avoid the cyclone. So day 2, I got to Mount Isa. Avoided the floods, got through all the rivers and all that type of stuff in my little car, and everything was great from that point on. Day 2, I set off, and see that little point there? So my car is 100% gas, and so I knew that there was gas at Barkly Homestead in the middle of Northern Territory. Pulled in there, and they'd actually ran out of gas the day before. So I had 180 kilometres to get to the next gas station with 100 kilometres left of gas in my car. And I said to the people, what happens? What do I do? When are you getting gas? And they're like, because they have a accommodation there. So I was like, oh, well, I can just stay here till the gas arrives. And they're like, oh, we've decided not to get gas anymore. We're not going to top up. And I was like, so what do I do here? And they're like, well, we don't know. You could call a tow truck and get them to come out and get you. And I was like, okay. So I sat in my car, had my conversations with God like I do, get grumpy with him sometimes. Like, why is this happening? And I decided to slowly make my way to see how far I could get to the next place. So I'm driving along, and I did about 80 kilometres and decided I needed to pull off into a truck stop, so then I was safe, And as I'm pulling into the truck stop, there's this young guy who pulled in just to have a break and stretch his legs. So I went up to him and I said, which way are you heading? And he's like, I'm going to Three Ways, which is the intersection that takes you up there. And I'm like, can you call the RACQ or the RA, whatever Northern Territory's version of that is, and get them to come out with a tow truck because I can't go any further. And he wanted me to go with him, but I wouldn't because my whole car was packed up with every possession that I had. So I'm sitting in this little truck alleyway for 2.5 hours, sat there, and he comes back in. And I'm like, what are you doing back? And he goes, they're 6 hours away. I'm not leaving you here for 6 hours. And he's like, I've got tow ropes and I'm going to tow you to the next place. So he towed my car to Three Ways and then when we got here, he paid for my gas. He made sure that I was okay. He was probably a 25-year-old guy, right? To me, that was also God helping me and assisting me in what I do. The rest of the journey into Adelaide was quite good, so it was okay after all my adventures, right? So coming down here, once again, I was placed in front of lots of people. God put people in front of me to impact my life. But the person that had the most impact was this gentleman. So he was the most amazing gentleman. He impacted my life so much. The first time we met, he said, I've been told that we have to meet. I'm not sure why. We spent 3.5 hours together. And he was like, okay, I understand why we're meeting. So he was amazing. He impacted a lot of people's lives, including mine. Which then brings me back to this because I totally believe Glenn lived this as well. He never saw bad in anybody. He told us time and time again to find good in everybody, and that's what we do. But another Bible verse that I live by is this, because I grew up in a family full of judgment. People were nasty and judging. There was even religion based. So this is what I live by. Don't judge anybody. I don't throw stones at anybody. I am there to help people. Another thing that happened to me recently was I was talking to a friend about today, stressing about what I could give to you all. And after we'd had our coffee and I'd finished talking to him, we'd left. And he rang me about 15 minutes ago and he's like, you need to talk about the fingerprints of God and how God is in everything we do and everything that is around us. Which is true. I spend a lot of time at the beach listening to gospel music and praying and talking to God and thanking him for everything that he has done for me. So once again, my passion is to help people. My goal is to motivate, inspire, and impact others. One of the ways I do that is through BNI. So at BNI, I am managing director. I have my own personal vision and my own personal mission in BNI because I truly believe that BNI changes people's lives. And if I can connect with lots of people, get them into BNI, even if it's only for a short time, I can help change their life for the better. So BNI stands for Business Network International. It changes lives for the better in several powerful ways, both personally and professionally. First of all, financial growth and business success. So it helps us increase our revenue. And in fact, in the last 12 months, BNI in Adelaide has generated over $35 million for its members. It gives you long-term clients and partnerships because we build trust with each other, which leads us to those long-term, deep relationships. It also helps small businesses. So many entrepreneurs and small business owners struggle. It's lonely out there. We have issues. We have concerns. BNI provides us with a reliable and proven system that will help them generate business. It helps us personally and professional. Confidence and public speaking. Let me tell you, when I joined BNI in 2011, there's no way you'd get me standing up here talking like this. It would have been, sorry, Daniel, I'm out, never coming back. But we help with speaking, weekly presentations, meetings with each other. It leads us with, we have leadership opportunities. So every chapter has a president, a vice president, mentors, lots of different leadership opportunities. It also helps us with lifelong learning. So we have so much training that we do. I've actually got 55 training activities this year that I'm putting on for its members, just to help them get more out of BNI. It helps us build stronger relationships and a community. So we have a supportive network. As I said before, business can be very lonely as a small business owner. So someone described it to me one time as their water cooler moment. So, if you're in an office, you go to the water cooler and you get to chat to people as a break. BNI actually does that for you if you're stuck at home working by yourself. It gives us lifelong friendships. So many members form deep personal relationships with fellow members. And it gives us a giving mentality. So one of our core values at BNI is givers gain. So it's all about us giving to each other so that we can help each other grow our businesses. Gives us a work-life balance and personal growth. So freedom through business growth, increased referrals leads to financial stability, allowing members to spend more time with their family. So I always talk about this to my members. It's like, if we give someone a referral, it's actually giving them money so that they can either put their children through university, they can pay off their debt, they can do lots of things. It's helping them become free. Personal transformation. So many members find that their mindsets change. They become more goal-oriented, positive, and open to opportunities. And faith and purpose alignment. So for those who integrate faith into their business, BNI's core values align with ethical business practices, creating a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. the real life impact of BNI. So this is why I am in BNI, all these points here. So BNI isn't just about business, it's about changing the lives of members. You go from struggling entrepreneurs to thriving business owners. You find mentors, accountability partners, and lifelong friends. You develop deep skills that you never thought you'd have, and then all of a sudden you discover you can't live without them. You give and receive opportunities that change their financial and personal future. BNI isn't just networking, it's a life-changing experience for those who embrace it. And that is why I'm in BNI, that is why I do what I do, because I want to change people's lives. So, once again, this is my vision and my mission for BNI. That picture was taken 2 weeks ago. Sorry, Daniel, I'm nearly finished. 2 weeks ago, me standing up in front of 260 BNI members at our annual awards. So just to have a look at some of the things I've done, I've facilitated training and events and supported over 500 people in North Queensland. I am currently working with about 450 local BNI members, but probably close to 600 over the 4 years I've been in Adelaide. And I have recently spent time training BNI New Zealand's management team, as well as working with them to help implement some of my systems, which is impacting around 2,700 BNI members in New Zealand. So one of the other things that has also happened is because I'm very public about my faith. I talk about it on my social medias all the time. People are now coming to me. So at least 2 or 3 people a week will come up to me and talk to me about my faith, about my Christianity. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I had a BNI member come up to me and say, "Can we catch up? I really want to get to know you more." And then we sat down and he started with, "I'm an atheist, but someone's told me that you're a really strong Catholic, a really strong Christian. And I want to get to know you because I really love the fact that our leader is a Christian." So that was really great. So I have lots of people coming to me now. And just quickly to finish off, I have a Living for God website that I started when I was in Cairns talking about my journey. It's all over all the socials as well. And just my vision for that is to inspire people to live for God, to be their true self and to live a better life, to encourage them to be a better version of themselves, help them succeed and live happy, healthy lives. And my final quote for today, like we always do in BNI, is God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we'll ever hope to use in our lifetime. Our gift to God is to develop as much of that talent and ability as we can in this lifetime. Thank you.